Okay, so in this video we're going to have a look at conversions, converting from millimeters to centimeters, centimeters to kilometers, and so on, and in reverse as well. And we're also going to have a look at areas, so we're going to have a look at millimeters squared to centimeters squared to kilometers squared, and then we're going to have a look at volume, so we're going to have a look at converting kilometers cubed to centimeters cubed and millimeters cubed to meters cubed and so on. So we'll start with lengths anyway. So our lengths that we're going to use are millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. So we're starting with the smallest measurement here, which is a millimeter. Then we go to centimeters, then meters, and then kilometers. Now, we know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, and there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So these are going to be our numbers that we're going to use to do our conversions. So let's start with an example. Let's take 5 centimeters. Let's take 5 centimeters, and we want to convert that to millimeters. So we're going to move in the left direction. We're going to move in this direction here. So let's see, that's going to be, we know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, so there are 5 times 10, 5 times 10, 5 times 10 millimeters then in 5 centimeters. So that's going to be just 50 millimeters. Okay, so 5 centimeters, 50 millimeters. And it's the same with the other ones. If we move in the left direction, let's take 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters, which is 100 centimeters and 10 millimeters. Let's take, we'll take 5 again. We'll take 5 kilometers, okay? How many centimeters are there in 5 kilometers? So we're going to move 2 steps now. We're going to go from here to here and then here to here. So first thing we're going to do is convert it to meters. So how many meters are in 5 kilometers? Well, there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So that would mean we would need to multiply. So it's 5 times 1,000 meters. So this value here will be meters. This is how many meters there are in 5 kilometers. So that's going to give us 5,000 meters. Now if we want to convert that then to centimeters, we would take our 5,000 meters. So we're here now. We need to go back to here. So there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so we need to multiply again. So it's 5,000. We take our 5,000, we multiply by 100 this time, and we get 5,000 and then another 2 zeros. And that's how many centimeters. There are 50 or 500,000 centimeters in 5 kilometers. So in both of these examples, we moved from right to left. So we moved in this direction here. So we move down along here in this direction. And we find that when we move in that direction from right to left, we end up multiplying. So let's try the opposite direction then. We go from millimeters to centimeters to meters to kilometers. Let's see what happens if we do that. Well, we actually, you can probably guess, we're actually going to just end up dividing. So if we move in, you'll find that if we move in this direction here, we'll end up dividing our numbers. So let's do that. So let's take an example. Let's take 5 again. We'll take 5 centimeters again and see what happens. So we're going to take 5 centimeters, and let's say we convert it to, let's say we have 5 centimeters. We want to convert to meters, okay? How many meters is 5 centimeters? Well, centimeters are much smaller than meters, so we have to divide. If this is going to be a fraction or a decimal of a meter, if you like. So what we have to do is divide. So we take our 5 centimeters and we divide by what the conversion factor is. So we're going from centimeters to meters. So our conversion factor here is 100. So we divide by 100. So that will give us 0.05 meters. So 5 centimeters is going to be 0.05 meters. So let's take centimeters and kilometers maybe. So we'll take 5 centimeters again, and let's take, we'll convert it to kilometers. How many kilometers is 5 centimeters? How many kilometers is 5 centimeters? So in this case we have to go from here to here and then to here. So we got to divide by 100 and then divide by this number here, 1,000. So I've actually done this already here to meters. I've actually done the first step from centimeters to meters, and we ended up with 0.05 meters. Now we're here at this stage, so we got to go to kilometers. So again, we divide. That's equal to 0.05, and we've got to divide by this conversion factor now, which is 1,000. So we divide by 1,000, and we end up with 0. We got to move this decimal point to the left 3 zeros, to the left 3 places. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then that's 0 there, and 5 kilometers. So 5 centimeters is 0.00005 kilometers. Okay, so that's basically the idea, and that's this kind of system here. If you move from right to left, from larger units to smaller units, you multiply. If you move from smaller units to bigger units, you end up dividing by these numbers here. And that's going to be the same for area and volume as well, that general rule. But just different conversion factors. So let's have a look at those conversion factors now. So let's look at, we look at area next, okay? So let's take area. So we're going to look at area now. Now, the way you can work these conversion factors out is fairly straightforward. Let's take, we'll start with 1 centimeter squared. So I'm just going to draw a square here. So we'll draw a little square here, and we will take it as being 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. So this square here has area 1 centimeter squared. Now, if you look at this length here from here to here, that's 1 centimeter, which means that that is actually 10 millimeters. That's 10 millimeters there. And this length here is also 10 millimeters. So if you multiply 10 by 10, what you actually find here is that 1 centimeter squared is in fact 10 by 10, which is 10 by 10, which is 100 millimeters squared. So this here is going to be our first conversion factor, 100 millimeters squared. So 1 centimeter squared will be 100 millimeters squared. So let's try the next one then. Let's go up to, we were on centimeters, so let's try a meter. Okay, so I'll draw a slightly bigger square here. Okay, so this is going to be 1 meter. This is going to be 1 meter. So if we look at the distance along here, this is 1 meter. That's going to be 100. That's going to be 100 centimeters. The distance from here to here is also going to be 100 centimeters. So if we take our the area here is 1 meter squared. Okay, now how many centimeters squared is that? Well, it's 100 times 100, which is 100 times 100, that's 10,000 centimeter squared. Okay, so we've done centimeters to millimeters squared, we've done meters to centimeters squared. Let's look at the last one then. We'll do kilometers here, okay? So we'll do a bigger square again. So this is our 1 kilometer here by 1 kilometer to give us 1 kilometer squared. So this is 1 kilometer here. This is 1 kilometer here. So this area here is 1 kilometer squared. So that's going to be our 1 kilometer squared. Now, how many meters is that in length and width? So along here we got 1 kilometer, so that's 1,000. That's 1,000 meters. Sorry, it's not meters squared, it's just simply meters. Distance is measured in meters here, so it's meters, 1,000 meters. And along here we've got 1,000 as well. So we have 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. So that's going to give us 1,000 multiplied by 1,000. So that's going to be 1 million meters squared. So this number here, and this number here are going to be our conversion factors in this case. So it's the same rule as above. If you move from smaller to larger numbers, you're going to divide. If you move from larger dimensions to smaller dimensions, you multiply. So let's just do 1 or 2 examples and see how that goes. So we're going to take, let's take 5 centimeters squared, okay, 5 centimeters squared. 5 centimeters squared. And let's say we want to convert that to meters squared. So we're moving from here to here. We're moving to the right, okay? So in that case, we're going to end up dividing. So that's going to be 5. And we have to divide now. We're going to move from here to here. So 5 centimeters squared. One meter squared is 10,000 centimeters squared. 1 meter squared is 10,000 centimeters squared. So we want to change centimeter squared to meter squared. So what we're going to do is divide by 10,000, and that will be our meter squared here. So if you do that, you get 0.00005 meters squared. Decimal point was here, so we go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Wait, now 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put in too many zeros there, so I'll just take one out. So it's 0. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Yeah, we divide by 1,000. So the decimal point goes to the left 4 places. It was here, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've converted 5 centimeters squared to meters squared. We use this conversion factor here. So let's try another one. Let's take 5 kilometers, okay? In this case, we're going to take 5 kilometers and we're going to change that to meters. So we're moving to the left, if you like, larger units to smaller units. So we're going to take 5 kilometers squared, and we're going to convert that to meters squared, a smaller unit. So we need to multiply. We're moving to the left, so we multiply. So it's going to be 5, and we're going to multiply. But what do we multiply by? Well, this is our conversion factor from kilometers squared to meters squared. So it's going to be 1,000, and then another 3 zeros. It's a million, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So that will give us our meter squared. So that will give us 5 and then 6 zeros, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is our meter squared. So 5 kilometers squared is 5 million meters squared. Now, if I wanted to convert the meter squared to centimeter squared, I would just take this and multiply by 10,000. So I would have to add another 4 zeros. And if I wanted to convert that again to millimeters, I would need to multiply by another 100. So you just keep multiplying. You go from kilometers squared to meters squared to centimeter squared to millimeter squared, and just multiply by each conversion factor as you go, or divide as necessary. Okay, so the rule is basically the same. If you're moving to the left, if you're going from larger units to smaller units, so from kilometer squared, for example, to meter squared, you're going to multiply. And if you're going from smaller units to bigger units, you end up dividing. Okay, so that's area. Let's have a look at volume now. And really it's exactly the same thing again, but in this case these conversion factor numbers just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's generally the same idea. So let's have a look at volume now. Volume. So let's start again by just looking at, we'll draw a few shapes and put in the different units first of all, the lengths first of all. So let's take a cube. We'll take 1 centimeter cube first. So let's do that. I'm just going to do a small little cube here. Okay. So this is our cube, and to find the volume of a cube, you multiply length by width by height. So now in this case, the length, width, and the height are all going to be the same. So we're going to take this as being 1 centimeter. This is 1 centimeter, and our height is 1 centimeter as well. Now 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So our 1 centimeter here is 10 millimeters. And our 1 centimeter here is 10 millimeters. Okay, so what's our conversion factor going to be? We have 1 centimeter cubed here, 1 centimeter cubed. Now, how many millimeters cubed is that? Well, it's 10 by 10 by 10. So that's 10 by 10 by 10 millimeters cubed. So 1 centimeter cubed is 1000 millimeter cubed. So let's try the next one then. We're going to go for a meter now. So we'll go a little bit bigger. So let's see. Okay, so we'll take this as being 1 meter here. This is 1 meter, and this is 1 meter here. So this whole thing here has a volume of 1 meter cubed. Now we want to convert that to centimeters. So let's see how many centimeters we got here. Well, 1 meter is going to be 100 centimeters. So this is 100 centimeters, and this is also 100 centimeters. So you probably get the idea at this stage. We're just going to multiply these three again, length by width by height. So 1 meter cubed, this is 1 meter cubed, is just going to be 100 times another 100 times another 100 centimeters cubed. So this is our conversion factor here. It's 1 million centimeters cubed. 1 meter cubed is 1 million centimeters cubed. And we'll do the same for a kilometer. Now I'm running out of space here, so I'll just move it up a little bit, and we'll do a big, another big square here, or cube rather. So let's do something like this. Okay, now we're going to have, let's see, this is going to be 1 kilometer this time. 1 kilometer, this is going to be 1 kilometer, and this is going to be 1 kilometer. Now we're going to go to the next unit down, which is meters. So we know that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. This is 1,000 meters, and this is 1,000 meters. Okay, so we know that this entire thing here is 1 kilometer cubed. 1 cubic kilometer, a very big cube. So how many cubic meters is that? Well, it's just going to be 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 meters cubed. So again, these are our conversion factors. So if we want to convert kilometers cubed to meters cubed, or meters cubed to kilometers cubed, this is the number we divide or multiply by. So again, I'll do a couple of examples. It's the same rule as above. You know, if you move from larger units to smaller units, you multiply. If you move from smaller units to larger units, you divide. So let's have a look at, let's say we'll go with 5 again. We'll go with 5 kilometers cubed. And let's say we convert that to meters cubed. So we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so we're going to multiply. So it's just simply going to be 5 multiplied by this big number here, 1 million, 1,000 million, actually 1 billion. So it's going to be 1,000 and then a million. So have I got enough there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So this is going to be how many meters cubed? Meters cubed we have in 5 kilometers cubed. So that just gives us 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meters cubed. And same, you know, if we have 5, let's say centimeters cubed, and we want to convert that to meters cubed, so this is a smaller unit to a larger unit, we have to divide, so it's going to be 5, and we want to divide by the conversion factor, which in this case is 100, it's 1,000, 1 million, yeah. So we're just going to divide by a million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is how many meters cubed we have. So let's divide. So we move the decimal point 6 places to the left. So I think that's 5 zeros and a 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters cubed. So that's generally how you convert when you talk about, when you're looking at questions that involve length, area, or volume.